behind it and underneath it and in between the wall. And we found an entire tin of Hayward mixture, open, but must have had maybe 2 bowls out of it, 12-ounce tin. And then we found a little lighter, it's almost like the Jeep.
Sure.
Kind.
Yes.
And it just says, "This lighter was stolen from Arlington Pipe and Cigar Lounge."
Perfect. Perfect.
And it's old. So I love that kind of stuff. So
you bet.
How are you doing, Tim?
I'm good today, Amu. How are you today?
I'm doing okay today.
That's good. Thank you so much for hosting for us today.
Of course.
Appreciate it very much.
Thank you guys for having me, as always. It's nice to see you guys spend some time. I'm on a new computer today, which is why I'm actually getting a chance to see you guys. But on the other note, I'm also gonna figure out how to make this a little bit bigger. Show small.
What time do you start?
I mean, I think DDR has this live now, so we could probably.
Boy, you've got a Jim Dandy banner hanging behind you on the wall there.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Has to do with our special guest here today.
Great. Great.
All right. Yeah, we have a couple of people here. I'll make sure I'll get admitted. Can you guys hear me okay, or is there a weird feedback or anything?
That sounds
pretty
good.
Clear. Pretty clear.
Good. What time is it? 1:02. It's 1:02. Yeah. How's the weather by everybody else? Anything crazy going on today?
Just freezing.
Yeah, it's freezing.
Come on.
Group for sitting outside.
I would add that it's freezing.
It's freezing here in California. It must be like almost 50.
Mike, I was in San Francisco earlier for this week from Monday through Thursday, and it was freezing. Thank God we brought our winter coats because it was like the wind was just freezing cold.
I hear it snowed after you left, and it was either Friday or Saturday. They got snow in San Francisco.
Yeah, well, thankfully I left before the snow came. I mean, how often do they get snow there? I mean, it's got to be.
It's been a while.
Yeah,
I can show you a picture from the high desert.
Snow
by by the ranch where we go to. Snow everywhere.
It's crazy.
Beautiful, because like in a couple of days it'll all melt.
It all melts.
And all the wildflowers explode all over the place.
That's cool. That's cool.
You know what else happens in those warmer climates, Tim? Like you were saying, you get there, it's freezing cold. Well, I better go get a jacket. They don't sell them. Nobody has them.
Yeah, nobody has a good winter jacket.
Well, when we first got there, I thought, okay, I just put on like something like this to go out, like a LL Bean, like sweater or whatever, sweatshirt. So we're out walking around. It's a little nippy. And I say to my wife, gee, everybody here has winter coats on. She says, well, that's because they're not quite used to the cold weather like we are. So first day it was okay. Then the second day it was freezing cold. It got even worse. And I said, you know what, Celeste, I think it's more because they know what the weather's going to be like and they're wearing their heavy coats. And that's why we're wearing ours today, because it's just freezing. I don't care if you're from New England. It's cold. It doesn't matter where you are.
Yeah.
It was a wonderful trip. Loved San Francisco. Beautiful place. The only complaint was a little cold. It was a little freezing.
The trick is California is the only place to buy good winter gear is find an REI.
Mm-hmm.
And they've got REIs in the Bay Area. They got them down in LA.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, they had snow at the Hollywood sign yesterday.
Well, aren't they also having a lot of rain out there too?
Oh yeah, my backyard, my pool, if it goes to another half an inch, is going to be overflowing.
Wow.
Yeah, my folks are up by Sacramento, and they're getting some freezing weather, a little bit of dusting, which is crazy. Well, good. I'm glad everybody was able to make it today. Thank you guys for joining us on this beautiful Saturday, wherever you are, freezing or not. We're experiencing our heat wave. It's 30.
It was snowing last night. It'll be 30.
So it feels great over here.
Shorts and flip weather, right?
What's that?
Shorts and flip-flop weather, right?
Yeah, I did have a gentleman come into the lounge today in shorts and some flip flops. No, I'm not kidding you. I was Midwesterners never cease to amaze me sometimes.
Irish tanning weather. That's what I
All right. Well, should we start here? Let's see what we're all smoking today. I'm gonna I guess I will admit some people in while I'm here. And I'm gonna go first. I'll go first. I am smoking a beautiful Sasani. This is Royal Stewart. Tim, this was a gift actually. This is an 87 Bulldog. This is a gift from our guest, our lovely guest. And as is my custom with gifts, is I often like to smoke what the person who enjoyed them smoked. And so I'm smoking some Ace of Spades, which is Tim's favorite blend that we have at the shop. And that's what I'm smoking today. And I will pass the pipe. Do you want to end or you want to go next?
I'll end.
All right, I'll let Tim end. All right. How about Dimitri?
Thank you, Amu. Well, I'm smoking Peterson early morning in a Bjorn pipe and having some hot tea because it's about 28 degrees out here. And let me pass.
Sorry you're so cold out there. I know it's not very warm at all, but I do appreciate your effort in being with us, and even if you have to be outside, appreciate that very much. So today I'm smoking this Peterson Caprice that I bought from Alpacia a number of years ago. I really like it because it's got this really neat kind of amberish stem on it. It's really a nice pipe, very nice sandblast on it. I don't know if you can see, but and I'm smoking Folklore in it, which is kind of new to me. I think it's very good. I'm enjoying it a lot. I want to show you guys I got the Peterson St. Patrick's Day 2023, and this is really cool. I mean, it's got the three colors of the Irish flag here on the arm on the band. It's got a really nice sandblast on it, really nice acrylic stem, and I have to show you the packaging. I mean, it comes in this nice box with kind of the raised letters here, and this really neat bag. I think they did a really nice job with the St. Patrick's Day pipe this year. As usual, it was very popular, and they flew off the websites and stuff like that. So yeah, very happy with their production this year. So okay, well that's my story for today. I think I'm going to pass the
Tim, is that a P-lip?
No, this is just a fishtail. Sometimes
Really?
yeah, sometimes they just do fishtails, and they do both. Obviously, they do both, but I don't know what the reasoning is per year, whether it's a fishtail
would interest me. I like those.
Yeah, they probably only have rust as far as this St. Patrick's Day. They probably only have the rusticated ones left because the smooths go fast, the sandblasts are next, and then the rusticateds are left over. So, okay, with that in mind, I'm going to pass the pipe over to Dave Haranek from Canada. Hello, Dave. Good to have you here today.
Hey, thanks, Tim. Good morning, or good afternoon, good evening. I got a Peterson Sherlock Holmes rusticated Squire. I'm smoking some Orla Golden Slice today. It's sitting around, putting around on my engine. I'm not doing anything too special. So I'm glad I could make it with you guys. I like the conversation about cold. It's warmed up now to minus 25.
Oh my God.
From minus 43 last night. So I kind of get a giggle when people are like talking, oh, I put on a little LL Bean jacket when it gets cold. But anyway, yeah, it take too much time because I'm busy.
Dave, that's minus 43. Is that with the wind chill, or is that just straightforward temp?
The actual temperature last night was, I think, 37 below and wind chill of 43.
Holy cow.
Yeah, but it's warming up now, and tomorrow it's going to be near freezing. So that's this time of year in Saskatchewan. It's one day it's I think we went 65 degrees last week. We went from we had a 65-degree swing in temperature in 24 hours. So,
So crazy.
anyway, let's pass the pipe to my dear friend Ramachandran. Go ahead, buddy.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you very much. Today, I'm already half the ball down, which is my Savinelli poker, in which I'm having Miguel's favorite, Amphora Virginia. So very soon I'll be finishing it off. Then I'll go in for my next one, which will be a Northern Brass Artisan Pipe, and in which I'll be having one of my favorite Old Dark Fire by McBaron's.
Nice.
Now with that, how about Miguel?
Thank you, Ramachandran. I appreciate it. Today, I'll start my day with Tom Elton Rusticated Curry with Amphora Virginia blend. And after that, I will smoke a Castello Shape 12 syrup. And with that, I will smoke Samuel Gaywit St. James Flakes. And while talking about the weather, I'm in the west coast of Canada. We are expecting a snowstorm actually today and tomorrow, and we don't know how to handle that thing. So I will pass the Virtual Pipe Club to Randall.
Thank you, Miguel. If you got time, go out and find a hardware store, buy a snow shovel. You're gonna need it. I've got a little outdoor furniture table on my deck right out the window here.
I'll knock on your door, Randall.
It's got to be at least 20 inches of snow piled up on it.
Jeez.
There was a little bit. There was about 2 inches, but we just got terrible. Anyway, today, our lovely little club pipe that I like a lot, smoke it often. Bones, it says. And I have an old codger blend in it, some Sir Walter Raleigh. Good straight tobacco flavor, and I like that. Let's see. How about Zahir?
Hello. So actually, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, very well.
Okay. Actually, I had finished my last bowl of 3 nuns like some 20 minutes ago. And then I remembered that it was the meeting today. So I just filled another one. This is some kind of an unfinished briar, if you can see it. And 3 nuns in it. Actually, it's midnight here. So I think nothing suits better the nights than a little burley. And I'll pass it to Michael Tan.
Thank you, Zahir. Where are you joining us from, sir?
I'm from Pakistan.
Welcome. Well,
thank you.
It's California, and I have a mudcat calabash, just some woodwork, and I inherited from a friend of mine about 30 jars of different types of tobacco yesterday. So I started a can of 2017 Cult Abacus, which is what I'm smoking today. And with that, why don't we pass it over to Law Dog? How you doing, Law Dog?
I'm doing good. I appreciate it. Long time I hadn't been here, but it's good to be back to see you guys. Can everybody hear me all right?
Yeah.
A good Lord.
Yeah. Great to see you again.
Man, I tell you what, it's good to be back, guys. I've had a number of health issues, but I think I've rounded the corner. Sitting in the shop getting ready for the Chicago show coming up soon. And since I had to quit smoking, what I do normally is when I come on here, I say, what is Law Dog refurbishing today? I got in an old Nana Everson pipe that was in pretty rugged shape when I got it, but it's going to turn out really nice, and I'm happy to be back in the shop and happy to be working again. And I don't know who hadn't been. Chris, have you been?
Yeah, Chris.
Okay, I'm gonna turn it over to Chris. It's good to see everybody.
Good to have you.
Nice to see you.
Thanks.
Good to spend the afternoon with, brother.
Before we go to Chris, can I just say, how could anybody have a Nana Everson pipe that's in bad shape? Like, how could you let it get to that point? Like, come on, really? How can that happen?
Well, I have a lot of clients that are truly smokers.
Yeah.
And they look at a Nana or a Yes or a Lars strictly as a smoking tool. Now they have a whole lot more money than I do, but it sure does keep me working pretty steady, and I appreciate it.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Wow. I'd like to think maybe they kind of found it in an antique store or something, and somebody else abused it, and they needed to get it fixed up. So today, I pulled out the Viking head mirror. I had this one for a while, starting to color up nice. And I'm pulling out some 4th gen 1897 in that. Yeah, in the cold. I'm from central New York, so we're no stranger to the cold here. It's pretty cold, but yeah, I can sympathize with Dave. My daughter worked in North Dakota. We were out there around Christmas, and yeah, it was like 20, 30 below normal temperature, and the wind chill hit. Just never felt cold like that before. So yeah, we came back here like we won't whine anymore about the cold after experiencing that for a week. It was pretty brutal.
That is brutal.
Let's see who else has their hand up here. So here, did you go? I think already.
Let's see. So here went.
Yeah, sorry, I have to go down.
Bud and Chris.
Bud
and Glenn.
Go ahead, Bud. What are you smoking today?
Hi, I'm smoking a Janos club pipe, and I'm smoking some Lane Ready Rip, which is a nice burley. And as you can tell, I'm bundled up. It's raining steadily here for the last 8 hours or so here in San Diego. We're going to get about 12 inches of snow up in our local mountains, and as you can see my breath, so that tells you what temperature it is outside. And but anyway, and then I'll have probably some Cosball and our other club pipe, Bones pipe after that.
And I got to tell you, I love your hat.
Oh, appreciate it.
Pure classic. Pure classic.
The company called Sunday Afternoon is who did it, and yeah, I like this hat too.
Oh man, I guess so.
I put it through the test a few times with some inclement weather when I've been out camping, so and it's passed no problem. A lot like a Pendleton.
Looks
hat.
good.
So, and I don't know if anybody else has still got their hand up. I don't see anybody.
Yeah, I think that might be awesome.
Dave snuck in under the radar. I don't know if he wants to go.
Oh, where's Dave? Dave, did you want to go?
No, I just got in, but I'm going to light up a Costello and just sit in. So carry on. Hi, everybody.
Awesome. Tim, what are you smoking today?
So I've got a 4th generation Near Up.
This is a pipe of the year, right?
Yep.
2019 or something like that. It's a nice one.
Yeah. Got some Ace of Spades in there. Best tobacco ever.
It is the best tobacco ever. And if you guys ever come out to Chicago and visit Arlington, we'll make sure to get you guys.
Yeah, you'll smell me coming like 5 miles away. Vanilla, unicorn sweat, just the good stuff.
What is the
bowl on that thing.
It is a big bowl. The blend, it's a Cavendish blend. It's a straight Cavendish. It's sweet aromatic, nice mild, easy smoke.
All day long.
All day.
Yeah. And unlike most aromatics, there's little to no bite. Yeah. I mean, if you're looking for a robust smoke, this is not it. But if you're looking for a very pungent aromatic, it is. So.
Yeah, it doesn't smoke too wet either, which is nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, as you guys might have guessed, we're changing pace a little bit today. I've got my fancy background. I've got a co-host in shop with me today. So for those of you who don't know, today we are talking with Tim Garrity. He is the president of the Chicago Pipe Club. And I think that's about all introduction I'll do. I know most of these guys know you, but if you want to introduce yourself a little bit more, tell us a little bit more about yourself. How'd you become the president? Who you are?
Yeah, I've been associated with the club for well over 10 years. My mentor was Mike Reschke, the club's first president. Taught me a lot about pipes, taught me a lot about tobacco, refurbishing pipes, cleaning pipes. And when he became sick, I became the club secretary and became the club president by default because it's a job that nobody wants. So, yeah, it was an illustrious ascent to power.
It's funny. That's how I got the secretary job.
Yeah, just kind of appointed you. So
go ahead. Keep going.
So I've been the club president for 2 years now. Yeah.
3 years.
Yeah. Took over during COVID, which was, as many of you know, who were paying attention to the show, we were all set to go with the show, and then COVID, we had to cancel all plans and start anew. You know, it's been a steep learning curve.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. So can you explain? So you're the president of the Chicago Pipe Club, and we're going to talk about the club obviously today too. But can you explain what your role is with the show?
Yeah.
Those are different.
Well, a lot of people don't appreciate the fact that we have the club, but you also have the show board. And they work in conjunction with each other. But at one point in time when the show started, you know, it had, you know, you needed a real dedicated body of people to run the show. And over time, the two kind of drifted. And you had the show being the show and the club being the club. And we're trying to bring that all back together again, because the club, our main function is to, you know, sponsor fellowship and the club and the show. So we're trying to bring it all back together again, to get the club back to being heavily invested in the show and sponsoring the show, and also running the show, so that there's all hands on deck kind of mentality.
Absolutely. I know that's something that we've been working on internally as a board, but also, you know, making sure we're involving the club members in raffle donations and volunteering, and
working the show,
right? Doing all of that kind of stuff. So tell us a little bit about the history of the Chicago Pipe Show. I know a lot of you guys have probably either been to one or Zoom. How many years has this been going on? When did
last year was technically our 25th show.
Wow.
It was founded in 1996. It was run basically out of a guy's garage for a while, and then we moved to a Holiday Inn. And you know, from there, the attendance started to grow, and we moved to Pheasant Run, which was our longtime home, for I would say about 20 years. We were at Pheasant Run. And, you know, we've weathered a lot of storms. You know, Illinois is not smoker friendly. So the show had to weather the indoor smoking. So we had to get the smoking tent, which has now become like, an integral part of the show. It's like one of the great things about the show is you get all these smokers in a tent.
It's a common room.
It's exactly, and it's all about fellowship, friendship, talking about pipes, talking about tobacco, talking about life. But that was born out of necessity. We had to find somewhere to smoke, so we had to rent a tent. And, that adversity that we went through kind of helped the show grow in a different way. And we're like, I've been to other shows across the country. What's interesting is like, Vegas is one of the shows that the Vegas show is still blessed to smoke indoors. Each one of what I love about our community folks is that each show has its own character. Okay. They have their own kind of vibe to them. Like, I really like the Vegas show because it's a big social event, and because you can smoke on the show floor, you can talk to the people that, you're buying from, and it adds just a different atmosphere, which I really liked. And, the team in Vegas just really did an outstanding job. And, it's great to have them back online because at one point in time, you could go every season, there were pipe shows across the United States. You had the New York show, you had the Raleigh show, you had the Texas show, you had the West Coast show, the Vegas show, you had the Chicago show, the Kansas City show, the St. Louis show, right, the Columbus show. You could literally spend, a year hitting all these little shows, and each one had a different atmosphere. So we've kind of, grown into this very large show, and we're really trying to maintain the culture, the pipe culture that many of us inherited when we kind of got into this. And it is a culture, okay, because, there's a different vibe among pipe enthusiasts. There's a different level of respect and positive dialogue. I always like to say, my pipe club is more functional than my government. So, and growing the show, and Amu can tell you this, it's an ongoing journey. And what makes the show thrive is people like y'all who attend it, because each person who shows up brings a little bit of who they are to our show.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. What kind of things are you excited about? So you talked about how it used to be held at Pheasant Run, and now we are at the Marriott in Lincolnshire, which is 25-30 minutes from Arlington Heights, not super far from Chicago. So what are some things that you like about the Lincolnshire location that are, you think are positive as the show continues to grow and move forward?
Well, the Lincolnshire Marriott is a resort. It's, the Pheasant, it is what the Pheasant Run was 20 years ago. It's well maintained, well staffed, a very friendly staff. It's got lots of room. It comes with its own little baggage because it is a resort. Prices are more expensive. And as a club president, I like to be honest with people. And, when people are upset about prices, I do point out like the room prices are only about $10 more than they were at Pheasant Run.
Right.
Pheasant Run was $150 for a room. Rooms if you get in before the cutoff date, folks.
March 31st.
March 31st, they're $160 a night. And when you're paying that kind of money, you're actually getting a nice little suite. I really like the atmosphere. And the smoking tent, I'll be frank, it's smaller, folks. We used to have a 6,000 square foot tent at Pheasant Run, of which we only used 4,000 square feet. Right. There was always a part of it that was set up for other events. So we have this 4,000 square foot tent, and it's maximized for different events. It's mostly for us to just socialize, but on Friday, There's the buy-sell swap. On Sunday, you have the slow smoke, the UPCA slow smoke, which this year's pipe is given by Chacombe, which is a really nice little pipe company there. If you've ever had one, great smokers.
French company.
Yeah. So what I like about the Lincolnshire Mirror, it's just like it's a really nice place.
Yeah.
And face it, anywhere in Illinois that will let you smoke, you just feel utterly grateful. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm happy that we're there and they're willing to work with us. So.
Yeah. So speaking of working with us, I know last year a lot of people had a lot of concerns. Obviously, the biggest one that I heard was the dates, as a lot of people couldn't make it to last year's show because it was on Memorial Day weekend, which we didn't really have a say in. But you know what? We know that this year the club took that seriously and is addressed that. We changed the dates. So what would you say? Is there anything else that the show committee is doing to hear the community?
Well, I mean, the club, myself, all the officers of the club are always willing to work, especially when people have good ideas.
Yeah.
That just, and we're trying to include more of our community, because, we're putting on a show, but, there's a fine balance. There's no show without people attending, there's no show without vendors. So we're a community and all members of that community need to be heard and respected. So what we're trying to do is if people have a legitimate concern and we can address it. Sometimes we'll address it on the spot. Other times it's something we have to work out with the so there'll be, we're still in the growing phases, and my job is really to keep our show alive so we can get our footing again and grow, because again, I'm not kidding. Illinois is not very friendly towards smoking. So the minute we have this new resort location, we want to make sure we maintain positive relations.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there anything about the show this year that is new and exciting?
Well, if you ever, I would encourage y'all, if you have Instagram, to keep your eye peeled on Jeff Graysick's Instagram page. He will be making a surprise announcement about a major event at this year's show. I cannot give you too much because I'm just very excited. It's one of the things that I like to point out to the people is that our show is considered an educational event, and we're trying to bring that back. Okay, that's why we have the pipe carving seminar. And this year we're offering pipe carving 102. So everybody who took 101 last year can now take it up a notch to trying their hand at different pipe shapes and styles. And we're always interested in educational forums. In the past, we've had Peterson. We've had, this year we have Fred Hanna, who's coming out and he's going to do a presentation on the benefits of nicotine. Yeah, there are benefits, folks. There are benefits. So those are two of the things that, I'm kind of pumped about. We're also mixing it up with the silent auction. We're going to have like a rotating stock so that, people can basically see what comes up, put their bid down, the lots close, you can come back later and check it out for the next lot. Just kind of like, give people a little bit more.
Are we last year had slow smoke and the fast smoke sponsored by the United Pipe Clubs? Are we also having the fast smoke?
So last year, first ever, UPCA did the fast smoke. We will be hosting that again. I'm also a member of the UPCA, so we're having the fast smoke and the slow smoke. I would encourage you, if you're on the fast smoke, to maybe bring
an extra tongue,
like a medical mouth rinse. Okay, because you're going to be smoking through some very unique tobaccos. And it's just a fun little event, and many of us are used to being fast smokers anyway.
Yeah.
because we're just incompetent.
Working.
Yeah. So, and when people have ideas of stuff they'd like to see in the show, I'm always open to hear it because, I'd really like to bring back the Carvers Forum, where we have carvers from around the world just talking about their craft. And I really, long-term goals, I'd like to also bring back the pipe repair forum. In the past, Chuck Ray, who was a longtime member of our club, would run the clean your own damn pipe seminar. And he would teach you the ins and outs of cleaning your pipe like a professional. And I'd really like to see that come back because we have this wealth of resources in our community from around the world and around the country, people who have different methods for cleaning and restoring pipes. Law Dog's talking about restoring a Nana Iverson pipe. That's people would love to hear about that because look, if I'm cleaning an old Dr. Grabeau and it goes flying out of my hands, I'm not weeping, folks. Okay, if I break a Nana Iverson, I'm
throwing something else through the door.
It's going to be a contentious day. But it'd be great to bring those back. And in the future, if there's interest, that's the stuff we want to grow.
Yeah, I think that's important. I think it's important for people to remember that we are an educational organization, and I think I like the idea of making sure that that's an integral part of not just the club, but the show and how we interact also with the community.
Yeah, I mean, think about this. You have this leaf that was grown in the Americas that has, took over the world, spread all throughout the world. And, today you have people of all nationalities, all political spectrums. They come into our tent and it's a little mix of the United Nations. With a hell of a lot more respect and civility, and I admire that. As a teacher, somebody who teaches government, I like to see what functional human interaction looks like.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely. Dang, I just had a good question for you. I just totally skipped my mind. It does that sometimes. Thanks. Oh, is there? Let's see. Hi, Janos. I saw Janos jumped on. Saw a couple of you guys jumped on.
Hello, everybody.
A couple of you guys, not just Janos,
Hi,
but
team.
you guys jumped on. Good to have you guys joining us. Did you?
Better late than never. Hello, Tim.
It was awesome. I mean, I like Janos' pipes. Again, this is another thing personal. What I love about our show is I can talk to the person who made my pipe.
Yeah.
I love pipes. I have, and Amu can testify this. I have every kind of pipe from the humblest of Grabeau, right, to some rather expensive pipes. And I love Dunhill pipes, but I'm probably never going to meet the person who made my pipe.
Yeah.
But I go to the show and I can see the pipe, talk to the carver. You get that relation. There's a certain sentimental connection that's made, and I really love it.
Yeah. I think it's a good way to it's a good way to curb PAD. You know what I mean? It's a good way to collect. I like that.
Yeah. Exactly.
What so speaking of other shows, what are you going as a member of the club? Are you going to any shows this year that you know of?
I'm checking the calendar. I would really love to go back to this. We're trying to basically send ambassadors to all the shows. We really need, I don't see competition. I see community. And, when one show hurts, this is my opinion, we all take a hit. Okay. Because we are a very small community, when Kansas's show went away, the St. Louis show became that much more important, because it brings us all together and it brings that little culture zone together and reminds people that we're still here, we're still a community. But my goal is to look at my work calendar and come up for a reason why I have to be in Vegas in October. So I don't know, maybe an investment opportunity out there. I don't know, but I like, one of the ideas I have as club president, and I've been pushing this out there, is what I call pipe ambassadors. And what that is that I reach out to carvers, enthusiasts, collectors all around the world as a connection for our club to that community.
Yeah.
You know, so I've been working with Ping in China as a ambassador for the club and the show in China to kind of what's going on in China, what's, you know, what's up with the collections there, what's up with, you know, your culture there, and reaching out to different communities around the world. Europe's a little trickier because, you know, you have Italy, which has an amazing pipe culture, Denmark, which has an incredible pipe culture, Poland, all these different nations in Europe have strong clubs. And I just like to reach out to them to kind of bring us all together.
Yeah. I love that idea.
And
Yeah, screw that.
Having Amu as the ambassador to the industry.
So, I mean, and I think that that makes sense too, is that having people who are club members who are also who work in the industry, who can help, you know, we're the ones who are seeing the legislation go through quickly because we are getting updates from our distributors or from our wholesalers or from PCA. And, you know, so we, you know, that's something that I think that is important too. Having people who are both working, but also who are just enjoying this in the community as a hobby, just so that we can all stay connected because the industry is growing. It's, I mean, even in the last 2 or 3 years, for those of you who don't or who aren't cigar smokers, this is the last, since COVID, the cigar industry hasn't seen a boom like this since the 90s. This is the largest cigar boom and the largest amount of importing of cigars that they've seen. Actually, I think it was even bigger than the 90s.
Yeah.
We're seeing a lot of young people come into the store. They're going into the pipe room. They're getting up their first pipe. They're getting their first tobacco. Seeing a lot of young people exploring tobaccos, getting into cigars, getting into pipes. So as the community is getting younger, I think it's important that we remain connected and more official or more
focused.
Or yes, more strategic ways, more stable ways. And also, like you said, you know, updating shows, updating how we run things, how we communicate, how we reach out to the community.
Yeah, well, and you know this, the Chicago Club, what I do as the president is I give free pipes. I give away free pipes. Nothing too fancy, folks. Don't get me wrong. Okay. But I like to give away free pipes to new enthusiasts, just like, look, try it out. If you don't like it, it didn't cost you anything, you know, because I mean, the great amount of joy I get from our community, you know, after I've had a long week, okay, I'm in a very high stress industry. You know, I come to Arlington Pipe and Cigar on a Friday and I decompress, sometimes for an hour, sometimes for 5.
Okay. Depends on when we decide to kick them out.
Yeah. You know, and I'd love for people to get a chance to experience that joy, that calming relief of the pipe. So, and anybody who's coming to the show this year, feel free to hit me up. Amu knows this. I'm an esoteric-aholic. Okay. So anybody who's upset because they haven't got any shots at Penzance or Stonehaven, you see me at the show and I'll make sure that you get some. Okay.
Absolutely. That's one of the things that I actually really enjoyed about the show last year. You guys didn't get a chance to go, was that the club offered samples from a variety of tobaccos. I mean, there was just an entire table set up, and we do this at all of our club meetings too, once a month.
Come on.
Tobacco out, and some of it's donations, some of it's a lot of just from Tim's cellar, some of it's, you know, people who, you know, open up a tin, don't like it, so they donate it to the club. But I love that. I love the idea of being able to just come to the table, grab a little bit of something, grab a bowl, grab a couple of bowls of something, and just really, yeah, I think it's a brilliant idea.
I just thought it was a big boon for our community because it's like anybody who's an enthusiast, there's a lot of blends out there, and, you know, they're not always cheap,
Yeah.
you know? So, you know, if it's some folklore, that's not an inexpensive tobacco. You know, well, you know, I want to make sure that everybody gets a shot at it.
Yeah.
And, you know, and if you don't like it, great. If you like it, you know that it might be something you want to pursue.
Absolutely. Yeah. So going forward with the show and speaking about connecting the industry to the community, I know can you talk a little bit about the relationships that the Chicago show is building with some of these, you know, big companies in the industry?
Yes. You know, I went to the Vegas show and I saw what Brian and David done. Okay. And I was just, you know, by reaching out and getting sponsorship, you know, as a way to pull industry people, you know, into the mix, you know. So, I mean, I took that idea, I got some more ideas from Brian, and Brian Levine gave me some great insights and ideas, and I reached out to, you know, people like Max Stokeby from Scandinavian Tobacco Group and Jeremy McKenna from Sutliff, speaking with Shane Ireland from Ladisi, slash, just slash.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, asking for support because, you know, I'll be frank, I don't like to mince words. We're at a new resort and it's not cheap, you know, and the tent cost us, and has always cost us a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's always been the most expensive.
Would you say
part
it's our biggest
expense? It always has been, you know, and there's always somebody whose uncle, you know, sells tents and they're always willing to give us a tent. But unfortunately, folks, you need more than that. You know, you need electricity, you need flooring, you need tables, you need lighting, you know, and that's not cheap. And we're really blessed that all the sponsors that I talked to stepped up this year to really help out. And that's the stuff that keeps us alive.
Yeah.
You know, and what also keeps us alive is new people and returning people attending the show and walking through those doors. You know, I thank everybody who shows up at our show. I mean, Janos, I first met Janos at our show, you know, you get this, you know, I see Janos as a functional artist. You know, like this is an individual who's creating a functional piece of art, you know, and you get to know him, and you get to kind of understand where his creativity is coming from and what inspires him, you know, and then you get a couple of his pipes.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and you know, that's how it begins, you know. But I don't, these are the things that I love about our community, you know. So again, it's this sense of community that I love.
Yeah. Even when you're talking to the giants in our community, giants being, you know, nothing compared to a company outside of the pipe world, but they are, you know, the big guys, the smoking pipes, this STG, they're big companies.
And they're all at our show. And it's like, I'll tell you what, you know, you can go up and, you know, Max
talk to any of
Stokeby
these guys.
does great work for Scandinavian Tobacco Group. You know, his dad, Peter, you know, that was close.
Grandpa Peter.
Eric Stokeby.
Eric, thank you.
You know, it's been a while since I know he passed.
Yeah.
And that's another sad thing. Sometimes you don't find out about your friends that have passed until you attend a show. Eric, met him at the show.
Eric's, you know, Anton is going to be there from Chacombe. He's the one supplying the pipes for the slow smoke. You know, so there's definitely. Is there any of you guys plan on going to the Chicago show? Or I should say, who?
You guys are like my students.
I see a couple of you. Oh, Dave, your head.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there.
We'll be there.
Awesome.
Possibly there.
I'm really excited.
Yep.
I'm really excited to see to meet / see.
I will be there anyway.
Gonna give it a real shot.
Well, if you see either Tim or myself, definitely stop us. We're gonna be busy with other, because I've got 3 hats at this show. I've got my secretary hat, I got my virtual pipe club hat, and I got my Arlington hat. So if you see me,
I have
stop. Tim?
Yeah, it's a big old giant clown hat.
It's a jester hat.
Yeah, it's a big old jester hat.
We put you in the corner.
Tim, could I say something to you, brother?
Please.
The Chicago show last year was outstanding. Yeah, there's some growing stuff, but you guys did a fantastic job. And Lynn and I look forward to being there again this year. I appreciate it.
Well, I mean, I thank you. I'm a big fan of your restoration work. I've seen some of it before. You know, I buy whole collections, and you know this. I give a lot of them away after I've cleaned them up. You know, but I always admire the restoration people because there's things they do that I can't. You know.
So when you're not smoking the world's best pipe tobacco, let's change course a little bit here.
Okay.
Before we open it up to questions about the show. When you're not smoking the world's best pipe tobacco, what else do you like to enjoy smoking?
First of all, I'll you know, Amu being in our club has turned me on to thousands of different tobaccos. Literally, I think I've got a couple extra 100 tobaccos that I got into. You know, at one point in time, a long time ago, before I had kids, I liked my Englishes and Orientals, and then, you know, I had kids, and you know, my whole existence became centered around the family was okay and taken care of. I was out of pipes for a long time, and when I got back into it, you know, I was more drawn to the aromatics. Going back to getting into, you know, Amu has turned me on to many of the different Englishes out there, the diversity of English tobaccos. You know, and of course, I mean, I do like the rare unicorns. You know, like when Folklore came out, it was, you know, it was a real surprise. I really like that. You find a rare treasure too. You know, and I found some old Butera Esotericas or the old Butera McClelland blends. You know, and my personal inclination now is to try to sample more of the C&D blend and the Sutliff line, because those are available.
Right.
You know, and you know, I don't want to become one of these people who's obsessed. I'd like to.
Yeah. Well, I think that's fair because there are a lot of good things coming. I mean, I hit the tail end of Scotland, you know, and I've got my fair share of Esoterica sampled and tried, and I love both of them. The tobaccos are fantastic. But as somebody who didn't grow up, actually, it reminded me. Kyle Bowen and I were talking about this. The president of the UPCA.
UPCA, United Pipe Consumers.
Was that, you know, we didn't grow up as pipe smokers in that era, but there are a lot of really good tobaccos that are still available or that are coming. We're really excited about. I think, like, people over at C&D, Jeremy Reeves, you know, all those guys, they're doing, obviously the guys over at Sutliff are doing wonderful things. They're working with awesome companies. They just released the Sheridan line that was
really surprisingly good.
Really
a lot
tasty.
Of great English.
Right, and it was recently released in Europe in 2018. So, you know, we're seeing all that stuff that I think are definitely worth trying. Sorry, I'm in my, let's see. Awesome. Well, okay, so let's talk a little bit about spring pipes too. So you buy collections generally. How long have you been doing that for?
Probably about 10 years.
Yeah, right about when the time you got back in.
Yeah, when I got back, actually, it was buying collections that got me back into pipes. You know, I stumbled across. I was smoking pipes with a friend of mine. His dad was a Dunhill guy, and we were smoking some of his dad's pipes, and you know, just kind of reminiscing. And I'm like, no, I'm going to pick up a couple pipes. You know? And I just happened to go on eBay. This was back when eBay was, you know,
A little more smoker friendly?
Yeah, yeah. You know, I stumbled upon a collection from England. Had two War Parkers, my late patent Darrell Parker pipes. Had a Duke Street Dunhill patent pipe. And a few other sparkling rare pipes. I got them all for a steal, you know, and I'm like, just then I found out, hey, you can buy them and clean them and, you know, turn around and sell them.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and that's when I met Mike Reschke, and Mike taught me a lot, encouraged me to clean my own pipes. And
How did you meet Mike?
so I had bought this huge collection of pipes, probably about 100 pipes. And it was everything, folks, every kind of pipe you could imagine, from, you know, the cheapest, you know, knockoff yellow bowls,
Right.
all the way up to, you know, what I would call like entry level luxury pipes.
Yeah.
Had a few, you know, Lee Eric pipe, and I knew I had something, I just didn't know what I had. So I called Chuck Levy, and Chuck, you know, wasn't interested in buying it. He's like, call this guy, you know. So I called Mike Reschke via, you know, Chuck Levy at Ewan Reese.
Yeah.
Boom.
Right into the club.
Right into the club.
The rest is history.
Yeah, and Mike taught me how to sell them, you know, taught me about bowls, about crap. Mike, if you never met Mike Reschke was the world's premier collector of Parker pipes. And he knew the whole history of Parker pipes, you know, and before they were Dunhill. So just it was really lucky.
Yeah. Fell right into the club.
Yeah. And then, you know, when he passed, you know, we had an opening for the club secretary, and once I was the club secretary, they brought me into the show.
Oh, into the show
to help
committee?
show, you know, help run the show, and you know, so we're you know, we're a growing community. This, I mean, I'll be honest with you, you know, it's like when I first started coming to meetings, our attendance was all over the place. We'd have meetings with 25 guys, some on occasionally get up to 35, and then have few as 10. You know, and we moved here to Arlington Pipe and Cigar, like what, like 4 or 5 years ago?
No. It was like right after COVID.
That was so close.
It was when the pipe room opened.
Yeah.
Almost 3 years.
Okay, you know,
Wow.
time flies when you're having fun.
Time flies, doesn't it?
Yeah. But I can tell you this, since coming to Arlington, we're having club meetings now where we're 40, 45 people showing up for club events.
Every month.
Just club events, folks. Nothing special, just guys and ladies sitting around enjoying pipes.
Yeah, it's a big jump. So if you guys are ever out in the Chicago area, make sure on a Saturday, make sure you shoot me over a message and see when the pipe meeting is that week, or that month, because it's a fun time. We have food and community, hang out for hours.
Yeah, I've been coming to Arlington Pipe and Cigar, I'm not kidding, folks, since I was 8 years old. Right? My grandpa would send me to Arlington Pipe and Cigar to get his fresh Garcia Vega cigars because he was utterly convinced that only Arlington Cigar Shop had fresh Garcia Vegas. So he'd send me up here with a note, get him his Garcia Vegas, and then when I turned 18, I bought my first, you know, cigars and pipes when this was at a totally different locale. Got out of it. They had moved to their new location, but was under a different management. And once Chris came on board and bought the place, he brought Amu on board, and man, we are spoiled. We are a spoiled club, folks.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool room for sure. And we definitely, as a pipe enthusiast, take off my Arlington hat, take off my secretary hat, as a virtual pipe club host and pipe enthusiast. If you guys come out for the show, I'd highly recommend making some time to swing by the shop and just check it out, because it is a really cool lounge.
Yeah.
It's a really cool lounge. The people are really nice. The room is beautiful. You know, it's got a lot of cool stuff in it, and and we always love your guys' support. So, yeah.
It reminds me a lot of the Peterson store in Dublin, circa 1998, when I was there, and that was before Ireland started going and I really like because it's a little had set the room set up almost like a classic tobacco store where you have tobaccos, pipes, it's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you, Tim. Awesome. Well, with that, I'm going to open up the floor. Is there anybody who would love to just chat? Not even just questions. If there's any comments or you want to talk about the show last year, what you're excited about for the show this year, or if you have any questions for Tim, please.
I do.
Yeah. Good.
Me, Law Dog.
Go ahead, Law Dog.
Okay, Tim, you were talking about Mike Parker, or Mike Retzky, who was a great friend of mine as well. He took me up to his suite one year at Pheasant Run. I'd cleaned a lot of pipes for him, and we were just buddies, and I started buying Parker pipes. And he had a pipe sitting or laying on the table where I was sitting. And he said, Robert, pick that pipe up. I said, okay. And this was the pipe right here. It's a 1956 Parker, large billiard, smooth, that has beautiful grain on it. It's kind of hard to see on my telephone. But Mike gifted me that pipe. That was my birth year pipe. Mike gifted it to me. And even though I had to stop smoking almost 3 years ago, this pipe right here will always stay with me, and then it will go to my son.
Wow. Wow. Thank you for sharing that.
Well, I just want to say, Tim, thank you for doing what you're doing, spreading pipe and tobacco culture. Well, that's basically what we're trying to do here in New York on a smaller scale. Now in New York, there is only one real pipe shop left. That's Berkeley Rex, and they do an amazing job. They have really good selection of pipe, great selection of tobaccos. Actually, I blended tobacco for them. It was released in the beginning of this month. Actually, it was my first aromatic blend that I made, even though I don't smoke aromatics myself. But it seems to be popular. I actually had positive feedback from Eric Stockaby. He tried it. Unfortunately, I won't be able to come to Chicago show this year, but hopefully in the future. And again, thank you very much for everything you're doing for us.
Thank you. We'll try to keep things running so that when you can come, you'll have a show to come to.
What was, Dimitri, what was in your blend?
Well, it's actually aromatic Virginia based. I used 2 different Virginias, and aromatics vanilla, mocha, and hazelnut. We did it as a birthday gift for Vanessa, who is the daughter of the store owner. Well, Berkeley Rex is actually the oldest family-owned tobacconist in New York. Vanessa is 4th generation. They were founded in 1910, still in one family.
Wow.
And store was in very poor shape a few years ago, but Vanessa and Joanna, who's manager, they brought it back to life, and now it's better than ever. Oh, by the way, I'm also a member of the Cigar group, Johnny Smoke Some Cut. And once in a while, they do Zoom meetings every week, and once in a while I show up there smoking my pipe. So last month at Johnny Smokes Uncut Cigar Group, we had pipe night. So we introduced a lot of new people to pipes.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Got to do it. Got to get the pipes into these guys' hands. Got to ride the back of the cigar smokers.
Yeah, if they don't like it, at least we're trying to help them out, show them the true way of tobacco.
That's right. They're right. The only way to enjoy stuff. Did anybody else have any questions or thoughts? Anything they wanted?
Tim, this is Alvin. Sorry I was late getting in today, but I had some inconvenient visitors. I ran them off as fast as I could. But I want to thank you for not sparing any money on the tent last year. Was wonderful. So I assume that the setup will be similar this year, the smoking tent.
Yep, we have the same tent. I know that some people were upset that it was smaller than our old tent. These are the things we got to work with.
Right.
But what I liked about the tent we had and have this year has its own heating and air conditioning.
Yes.
And I thought it was rather comfortable.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. I spent a lot of time in it, so I really appreciate that.
Yeah, it's the anchor of the show,
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm a little envious of Vegas because you can enjoy your pipe and shop, and that's the way the Chicago show was forever. So we've adapted, and it's one of those things when people are talking about different shows they want to attend, I like to encourage them to visit different shows, because each one has its own flavor, its own feel, and it's if you can, I know down in Texas, you all had your own little show.
We did.
Community,
Yes, I'll tell you, the more shows, the better. And I'm hitting some shows this year. I'm going to Muletown in a few weeks. It'll be the first time to that show. I just want to go visit the Briarville factory and have some friends coming there. But I'll tell you, I look forward to meeting I just want to say one more thing, Tim. I look forward to seeing you and some of the other VPC members that haven't made the Chicago show before. I'm looking forward to meeting you and hanging out with you and having a pipe.
I'll be in the tent for sure. I think I've been exiled there.
Yeah, he's not allowed anywhere else.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Tim.
by the way, since last year, we have another pipe show where you can actually smoke on the floor, Capital N in Albany, New York.
Yes.
I forgot about that.
That was a really good show.
Yeah.
It was the first
Yeah.
time that they had it. It was organized by Nathan Davis, and for the first time out, I thought it was a huge success. And it was held at the I guess the Polish American Club, and they had some great food that you could buy there, and some great beer. So it was just a wonderful show.
Yeah, Nathan had some optimism about their show when we spoke to him. Was it in January we had him on? And yeah, I want to try to get out to there. Us. You
Hey,
can also
Tim.
go to St. Louis too, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I'm trying to talk to Tim, the Peterson guy.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Robert.
Okay. I'm sitting right in my shop right now, and I just looked over to the table, my table. Now, I hadn't smoked anything in 3 years, but I found this old Peterson over there, which was it's a Frankenstein Peterson.
Yeah.
The stem was not original to the bowl. The shank cap was not original to the bowl, but I was able to piece together a pipe, and the tobacco in it is esoteric Penzance that has been in there for almost 3 years.
Okay.
I can't smoke it. I can't smoke it, but I can sure hold it in my mouth.
Well, it looks good on you, sir. It looks really good. Hey, good job restoring that peat. Grab every peat you can and put it together, man.
Yeah, I think Robert needs to patent this idea. You can call them pre-treated pipes.
That's right. That's exactly right. But
so you leave them packed with the tobacco for 3 years, and you say, "This has been aged in my cellar."
Yes, sir. This is the true, what do they used to call it, DGT or something like that? That delayed gratification on the pipe tobacco still in the bowl.
Right. Right.
Still smells good.
So, Law Dog, I know you haven't been smoking for a while, and I want to give you a big shout out for your tenacity around that. This year in September, I had some dental implants put in and just reduced my smoking for, well, 3 months for sure. And then after that, a little bit more sparingly. My heart goes out to you, sir. I admire your tenacity. This was one of the hardest things to do. And it's hard to be like you. It's hard to be, I'm sure it's hard to be around all these beautiful pipes and tobacco and the history and not be able to smoke. I hope one day you can.
You know, it is. 3 years ago, I had one of my lungs collapse, and I had some other lung issues. And my kind of personality, my type of personality, yeah, if I was to light this up and just say I'm just going to take one puff, it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. So I have to steer away from it altogether. But I still enjoy it. I actually enjoyed being out in the smoking tent, not because of the smell of the tobacco, but I was thinking to myself, how much money am I saving not buying that $100 tin of tobacco?
Well, you know what?
What's that?
You know what's really awesome is that you're not allowed to smoke, but you're still very much involved in the hobby, and you're helping so many other people, enjoy their pipes. You're restoring them back to their original beauty and making a lot of other people happy, even though you have to abstain yourself. There's a lot to be said about that.
Well, the hardest thing after I came back home and started working in the shop again was not smoking the pipe. My shop was my place of respite. I could come down here, smoke my pipe, work on other folks' pipe, and just relax. It was a stress reliever. But once I got over that hump, that's just back to normal. Would I like to smoke a pipe again? Yeah. And I promised my son and my wife that when I reach 85 years old, they're going to have to douse me with water because the house will look like it's on fire. I'm going to be smoking pipes, cigars, and drinking whiskey again.
All right.
Bravo,
I'll just
bravo.
comment on the Chicago show. I've been to all the shows over the years, all the different locations, and I got to say the Lincolnshire Marriott was a great location. I just had a great time. I've got so many memories going back to the the 90s, and all the people. A lot of them are gone. Burla, and this pipe has got Ed Lehman and Chuck Rio, and all those guys. They're no longer with us, but those memories are there, and those memories were made. A lot of them were made at the shows, and I had a good time last year. I really did, and I'm looking forward to this year. I had my room booked the first day that they announced the room block, and I'm looking forward to it. And I appreciate you shouting out our Vegas show, and like you said, all the shows count, all the shows matter, everything matters. Every show is a good show. So I encourage, if you can get to it, because it really is a lot of fun. That tent last year was good. I didn't like the chairs, but I think I'm going to bring my own chair this year. But we just had a great time there. And just like all over the years, it's not the same as it was 25 years ago or even 15 years ago, but it's still fun. And it was really well run, well attended, and I'm excited already for it. So it's coming up quick.
Yeah, it is coming up really quick. I can't believe it's already the 1st of March next week.
Yeah. And what's interesting is that with what y'all did with Vegas, I've been telling people, I because of my idea about the ambassador of pipes, I've spoken with some people in Europe, and they don't want to come to Chicago. I'm like, well, if you're not going to come to Chicago, at least go to Vegas, attend one of our, like, come on out, check out our communities, just because there's a different experience for each of our shows, and, when it's just like, it was great being out. I'll be honest, I'm going to be very selfish right now. What I really liked about being out in Vegas is I didn't have to work.
You weren't doing anything. Yeah.
I could just be an enthusiast,
Mm-hmm.
And it was just a great experience.
And it's the community. It really is the community, because the industry doesn't care about us. I just got back from a trade show in Vegas. I was there for 3 days. I was the only person I saw smoking a pipe. Seriously, there was I think there was 1 million square foot or something like, it was huge. I mean, it was like, it must have been like a quarter of a mile long. In the room was probably, I don't know how many hundreds of feet wide and probably a quarter mile long at the South Hall at the convention center. And I was the only one smoking a pipe. But I did represent at the party, and I had a few people, but I knew all those guys too. The guys that mentioned something, I knew them all. But yeah, it was, it's our community, and we've got to keep it going. So go to Chicago.
Absolutely. Was that it,
Tim?
Yeah.
Tim, I have a question for you. Well, for many years at the Chicago Pipe Show, people were awarded the title Doctor of Pipes. Actually, here in New York, we have an honor of having Vernon Wigg as member of New York Pipe Club. He was one of the last who was awarded the title Doctor of Pipes. He's also a founder of United Pipe Clubs of America. I'm just wondering, are you going to bring it back?
We continue to have the Master and Doctor of Pipes program. We had new inductees last year. We'll be doing it again this year. Rick Esserman is going to be giving us the nominations pretty soon. If you haven't attended the Doctor of Pipes ceremony, I'd encourage you to do so. Yes, it comes with a dinner. Very nice dinner. But what I really like about it is it's pipe culture.
Exactly.
Culture, folks, where the Doctor of Pipes isn't like, oh, this is Jimmy. Jimmy's been giving me my tobacco for cheap for years. I love Jimmy.
Right.
It's always somebody who is a, pillar of the pipe community. It could be, authors. It could be shop owners. It could be blenders. It's people who are helping our culture grow, So I really like the Doctor of Pipe ceremony, because it's kind of what we've been trying to do, is that, yes, this is a pastime, but it's also, a passion.
Mm-hmm. How do people nominate? How does the nomination process work for those programs?
So currently the Doctor of Pipes program and the Master of Pipes program, nominations come from the Doctor of Pipe. And that might change in the future, I don't know. But right now someone has to be nominated by other Doctor of Pipes.
or Masters of Pipes.
Yeah, so, and again, it's somebody who's of a certain age and has been in the industry for a number of years, building, our community.
Yeah, absolutely. Did anybody have any further questions or comments or thoughts or excitements? I'm excited for the show.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
If everyone's quiet for a minute, I'll just say, did anybody do their homework? Now I feel like I'm at back.
Yeah. Crickets. I was a good student. You would have loved me. I always did my homework.
We're a rare breed nowadays.
Awesome. Well, if you further have nothing, do you have any pluggables that you would like to plug? Where can people reach you? Where can people contact you if they have questions? Where should people be looking on social media for updates?
We have the club page. We're actively updating our club page and our show page. You can reach me on there. We're also on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're working on revamping our Instagram page. And, if you ever need to reach out to me, you can reach out to me via Facebook is the quickest one. I check that every day. Just because we have a lot of show business that we get. And, you can also see my original commercials on Facebook.
Oh yeah, you have your first commercial released, huh?
Yeah.
Go check out his commercial on the Facebook page. Is it on your page?
It's on our Facebook
On the
page, the
club
Chicago
page.
Pipe Collectors Club community page. Yeah, I mean, I was nominated for a BAFTA. Yeah, which is a Bastard Articulate Award. But basically, what I would like to just a big shout out is to our community. That could be our sponsors, that could be the people who attend, but also, the people who don't attend. It might sound weird that a guy who runs a show in a club wants to, thank those who don't attend clubs and don't, attend shows, but you're also an equally important part of the community. You're buying pipes, you're buying tobacco, you're feeding, and that's important because every last one of you, if you can't attend a show, if you're still attending like the virtual pipe club, you're still generating buzz. You're still building our community, and that's important. We are not, well respected by our government, and by our governments. And it's important that we, support each other. So, in the words of, Don John, no man is an island.
No man is an island. I love that. Well, everybody, stay safe.
Stay gold.
Stay gold. What Tim said.
Hey,
And-
quick question.
Go ahead.
Doctor of Pipes. Brian Levine, was he ever a doctor?
Brian Levine is a doctor of pipes.
Ah, okay, good. He should be.
Yes, I mean, Brian's a powerhouse of knowledge. Just the guy who's another one of these stalwarts of our community, just because he builds culture and buzz. I got a lot of respect for what he does, on the Pipe Magazine radio show, and I like the radio show just because it's recorded, and my time is very taxed, so I can always just listen at my leisure, so.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, keep your guys' eyes on the Facebook community page for our next meeting, and for any other events that DDR and I might have coming up. And thank you guys for tuning in as always. It's really nice to spend a nice Saturday with you guys. Get me off the floor for a little bit. And
yeah.
It's nice to hang out with you, Tim. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Tim.
Amu,
Thanks.
when's the next meeting? When's the next VPC meeting?
I'm not 100% sure, Randall. We'll put it on the Facebook page though, for sure. When DDR and I discuss that, he's gonna reach out to me this week to work on the next one. So.
Is there a
Very
way
well.
you could pin it on top where it just stays on the top when you make those announcements? Because I was
Yeah,
looking today and I didn't see anything.
I'm gonna make a note of that, and we'll make sure to update that so that we can get it, because that is a good idea. So
Yeah, because it's been
maybe
before, but
create
it's I looked
some
today
new
and it's
page,
like I don't
or
have
maybe
time to scroll down for.
Scrolling
It's
is
nice
fine,
to
yeah.
just be able to see it because I only looked. I was out on my walk and I clicked on just to see. Oh, they're going to have it today because I just can't keep up with everything. And I saw you were going, so I hustled and made it back to get in.
Okay.
So
The Zoom link should be there permanent too.
Yeah, the only trick I'll readdress that with DDR and see if there's a way that we can do that. The only trick is that we were having problems with a lot of scammers.
Right. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, but maybe DDR and I can readdress that for sure. All right. Perfect. Awesome. Well, thank you guys. I really appreciate you guys hanging out and chatting and making this a great show. So stay safe and stay warm wherever you are and smoke on.
Think warm thoughts.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you, everybody. See you next
Bye,
time.
everybody.
Thank
See you
you.
next
Bye,
time.
Bye-bye.